I gotta brighten it up. There we go. Yes, now we can see. You guys, this has been so crazy. What is going on with this computer and what's going on? I just had my phone on the tripod. The phone was like my keyboard wasn't working. I don't know what the hell was going on. So now we're back on the computer.
We're back. We're on the computer.
Live. It's getting a little bit different, right? I used to always think that the camera was like blurry, but it's just
We're getting to you. It's fine. We're getting to you. We're getting to you. We don't have a lot of time right now, but we're going to try to give you...
We're going to do like a half hour, right?
A quick reading of what's going on with you. Sorry, it's just that summertime. It's been so crazy. We're two people. But Aries, we haven't forgotten about you guys. So let's give you like an end of July kind of what's going on.
Yeah.
I know Cancer season was a cardinal season for you. And now we're just now getting into the Leo season. There is a full moon, a lunar eclipse, and Aquarius happening at the end of this week.
Right.
So we're all going to be all up in our feelings. It's happening while the sun is in Leo. That's your sister fire sign.
The day after Mercury goes retrograde.
And the sun is exalted in you. So it's definitely going to cause us all to be looking at our passions a lot. Hi, guys. You're showing up. What's going on?
Yeah.
With the Sag sun. Okay. Well, fire, fire, fire.
We're excited, you guys.
Yeah. So the last reading that we gave you guys, I remember was a lot of major arcana cards.
It's very angelic.
So a lot of you have had like some major things going on. It's been a major year. Well, Mars, your sister Mars ruler, which is Scorpio, has had Jupiter in Scorpio for almost a year. So it's been expanding a lot of our deeper emotions, a lot of hidden things too. So you guys may have been, especially being like the baby or being the first to do a lot of things, especially with the family, you may have discovered things about the family this year or about yourself somehow, or just put a lot of interest into like uncovering things. There might have been an expansion of some sort where you're uncovering even addictions or just parts of yourself that have just like really grown roots, or somebody else like a male who has a lot of affects you emotionally in a fixed way. You know, it could be a king in your life somehow, like a son, a brother, your man, or your father somehow. And this year they just had a lot of emphasis on you because Jupiter has been in Scorpio. It could have been like a male affecting you a lot this year. Definitely.
So we opened up the reading with a cardinal water placement, which is going to be the Queen of Cups. So this is giving you Cancer energy. So we just finished Cancer season, so you guys may have had some intuitive thoughts or some realizations based on your inspiration of your intuition last month. Are some of you worried about tuition or money? But this card is really saying that there is a need for emotional expressions and emotional responses, and the need to allow feelings to be, exchanged within a situation that you might be feeling there's some conflict in, because the exchange of the emotions can be looked at as like water coming in to sort of like cleanse the situation a little bit, wash away the dirt so you can actually see what's really going on, so that you can approach it from a more nurturing standpoint.
He's giving you a pyramid reading today, and it's looking like your this is your rising perspective, the first card out. So you're not quite there yet, but you are getting to a place where you will start to realize something maybe that you thought inside of your gut to be true. That could be a positive or a negative depending on your actions. But whatever it is, you kind of know around the corner what it's going to take for you emotionally. You know what I mean?
Right.
You could be planning something. A lot of Aries are really good at short-term projects like fundraising or events like that bring people together, like family reunions, weddings, baby showers, all kinds of stuff like that. Anything that causes people to come together in that type of way, you're really good at that kind of spark.
Building structures for people to sort of like come in and,
or if you're like a team
be
player,
within that structure. Right?
Yeah, like you could be a mentor or like a coach or like something like that, where like that emperor kind of energy where you do ring everybody in. You're the captain of the blah 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 or something like that, and you could just intuitively be knowing that something is around the corner, or like so there may be a female, especially if you're a male Aries, or even if you're a female Aries. There could be a water sign female, Scorpio, Cancer, Pisces, that comes to the forefront of your mind this month somehow. Or the end of this, like, during this period of time of July or going into August, that it's just like you're thinking about this female a lot. She could be a Scorpio female or a Cancer female or Pisces even, but I'm getting like Cancer, Scorpio kind of from this energy. And she could just very much be like prevalent in your life for some reason or another during this period of time. Maybe spend more time with her. Maybe she's got some type of guidance for you in this path of whatever it is you're going through.
I feel like some of you guys may have some conflicts going on with your mother. There might be some situations that involve, other people, and maybe they are the subject of the conflict that might be happening right now. Or maybe it's that the conflict has to do with maybe alcoholism or maybe drinking or some kind of like, substance abuse, maybe just to sort of like nurture yourself and make yourself feel a little bit better. Maybe you are eating more than you normally would, and that's causing a little bit of some problems for you because you know that you're sort of like being a little bit unhealthy in a way, and that's what's causing the conflict.
I'm getting like everybody has their own opinion in the matter. Whatever the situation is that's going on. This could be at work, definitely, because it's a 5, so that's
Right.
Taurus. So it could definitely be a work matter or something that you've been like
Right.
working on.
Could be a company.
And then we were talking about coaching, mentoring, and all this type of thing. So it could be like maybe you have a position within this organization or this establishment, be it a job or volunteering or something like that. And then there's just like a lot of like, there's just a lot going on. There's like a lot of spiritedness around it somehow. Like maybe you're just feeling this is the Lord of Strife. And it's Saturn and Leo, and we just now hit Leo, but it's talking about restrictions. So maybe you feel restrictions somehow in something that you really want in relationship to an establishment.
Yeah.
You want it to be this way, but you feel like, you're learning lessons about maybe it's just not up to just you. Maybe it's up to a group of people, or it's just weighing out what's too selfish or what's just right as far as these energies. Or it could be also for some of you, you're just dating a lot right now. And you could be just like, because this could be also sexual energy. So you could be learning lessons as far as like that's concerned. As far as like the idea of being too, this could be very promiscuous energy.
I need emotional fulfillment and understanding. I'm going to get it from these people, and it's actually not really doing what I wanted to do.
Right, it's no depth
so
there. So
really, they're just people doing stuff to me.
That is if you're just single and you're just and it's like a summer hot kind of thing. That's for the single person.
In your emotions, you actually really want to go in. You got the Hermit here. It's all about, this is the thing, Aries. You feel uncomfortable with processing your emotions just because you're so driven by by actions and activity that you almost don't have time to think about emotions, right? Think about a ram. They're not thinking about what the other ram is going to do or feel when they hit it with that first impact. Bam!
It's a very competitive kind of thing.
I didn't care. Bitch. I want you to join me. Here, we're doing this together. Who's going to win? So this is the Hermit, right? This is the inner teacher going in and finding your own answers based on what you know your truths to be, right? You've measured things. You've seen things. You've analyzed things. So this is having like hard truths or hardcore things within a situation. It's like you can't really like question something that you've actually gotten the information and the documentation on. You know what I mean? You have the proof of something.
Yeah, this is Virgo energy. So it's talking about something that's finite, and it's talking about letting it go. I mean, the Virgo is always the test of letting go of something. So in your emotions, you could be overly critical of your mate or them overly critical of you. That's definitely one thing. Or you're just like, you're going through something, and it's something that you have to go through. It's a personal thing.
It's happening.
And you have to look at it because
it almost wants to be in the
looking
future,
back at everything that you have done is almost defeating at this point. You have to go through this transition, whatever it is. And it's a major thing in your emotions. Like I said, we hinted at the lunar eclipse, and now the first major arcana card come out is an emotional card. It's not a card that's talking about the sun. It's talking about things that you deal with all by yourself, on your lonesome, and the way that you see yourself. So this could be like also having to do with like fear of judgment somehow,
Right, yeah.
and the way that people perceive you. You know, one of the deepest desires of Aries is to get love and recognition for who they really are. And a lot of that has to do with the idea of like, you know, a child, when they, you know, you are the child in that sense. So you remind us of having that spirited spark of just doing something. But like when a child accomplishes something, they want praise for it. Almost in the sense of a Leo, but in a different way. Leo is about the stage of life. It's like, I'm the star. Didn't you see that performance? But Aries is like, I did that. I got 100. Look, mommy. Right? And it's like, you know, you do want people to see your accomplishments. And so some of this is a call to let go of that need.
Yeah.
Right? It's like a progression that's happening inside of you. Maybe you thought that you needed this kind of thing, well, approval and other people's opinions. And maybe you're learning that, no, I can listen to my own intuition. You know, for some of you, this is an evolution in that sense of listening to your own intuition. And for others of you, this could be definitely some mirror water work. You're going to be really looking at your reflection and feeling very deeply about some things that you may have let go of emotionally. You could have been really critical of a mate, or they could have been really critical of you. And now there definitely could be a separation with your emotions happening there somehow. For some of you, or for some of you, you're letting go of this idea of like a team. Whatever that team feeling is. It could be with one person, or it could be a literal team. Like, it was my homegirls, and now I can't go out with my homegirls because now I'm coupled and I'm in a relationship and I have to think about that. Or like, I just can't. Or I was thinking about this group and now I have to think about myself. What I need.
I feel like some of you are really thinking about progressions and like what they mean to you. It's like you are looking forward to a conflict being resolved based on the the need for the progression to take place. Because if you're not thinking about the progression as being a part of your daily routine, then there is no progression, right? It has to be part of your daily routine in order for you to even see a progression from that point which you started to analyze the situation, right? So you're conflicted because you're not even getting to that point. What are you going to do about that? You know what I mean? It's kind of like you've got to start somewhere. That's the only way that there can be a progression. We've got to have one before we have two. We've got to have two before we have three. You can't be at one and think that you want to go to 9, but you don't want to go through 5, 6, and 7 because those are scary.
Right, you have to like look at it all right.
Like,
and it's like Libra is here in the past for you, and you are Aries, so that's opposites and an opposition right there. Opposites do attract. I don't know where this is a general reading, so wherever you have Libra in your chart, if you do have Libra in your natal placements, definitely think about these messages with that as well. But in the past, there's definitely a choice that was made, and it could have definitely had to do with you and another person.
Right, a Libra, perhaps.
Perhaps a Libra,
Gemini.
perhaps a lover, or it could have just had to do with you and your version or your need or your hunger for intimacy or willingness to have it, or your partner's need for intimacy and your willingness to give it. Because Libra is talking about what's fair, and then this is talking about in your moon, because this is moon in Libra. And then when I think about Virgo, which is right before Libra, and then having the moon card there, it's definitely telling me that you're learning something about your emotions.
Virgo, Libra.
Yeah.
It is a progression.
You're learning something. Yeah. You're learning something, or you're going to be forced to learn something emotionally through a separation, possibly, with an established way of being, or a spiritedness that came in that doesn't necessarily come in the same way. And it could be dealing with a matter of the heart, or with a lover, or with somebody really close to you, like a best friend, or like, you know, a parent, even like a female in your life for sure, that, or someone who's like a female to you, your wifey or whatever, you know, your significant other. This could definitely be where you're just constantly going to be thinking about that particular person's feelings and how you can learn from the situation and maybe even better the situation.
Right. It's like when we're telling you to go inward and sort of like analyze the situation and sort of like, you know, identify certain things within the circumstances of that, we're not asking for you to get complacent, because I feel like some of you are getting complacent. You're getting so complacent that your complacency is affecting your health. You see what I'm saying? So it's like you want to be able to make those conscious choices and those conscious decisions every single day that are going to affect your daily routine, that are going to be actually healthy in your endeavor and in your goals and in your search, your aspirations to achieving something better for yourself. Because a lot of you guys, like cardinal signs, have been feeling it a lot lately. You know what I mean? When you were affected by that Capricorn full moon, you were affected by the Cancer new moon, you know.
There was an issue with relating somehow with another person. And it could have been at work. Or it could have been your lover or something, anybody.
All those things.
But it could have been all those things. It could have been all those things or one of those things. But you're not looking at the situation clearly, because there's so much analysis over why it happened. Whatever. It could have been even an offense that happened. Maybe you were offended or somebody took you by surprise with something they did in their actions. And now you're overanalyzing it because Jupiter is there. And it's like you're spending too much time thinking about what you did or what they did. That you're not actually learning or growing or progressing, because this is the 9 over the 8 in your emotions. So you know you need to move on and let something go. But you haven't.
Right. The guilt is what's holding you back. It's almost like you have to release the guilt. And I don't know if you're going to get like a card that's Scorpio or Pluto or something like that, but it's like you got to release the guilt.
We're dead on. Yeah.
You got to release
We're here for you.
We are here for you guys. You got to release the guilt, because it's like when you hold on to guilt, that's almost like the opposite of holding on to resentment. Right? Because you have to forgive. The person who's resenting you wants you to feel guilty about something, and the person who feels guilty about something knows that there's
She just cut him off because of his ex-wife, she said, and now I'm peeking from the situation. Yeah. So
yeah, it's a tower moment for you to make.
You have to make sure, are you being overly critical though? You know what I mean? Are you just being caught up in your emotions because there's another female that affects your man in your life that you can't control and you hate it? You fucking hate it. Which is fair. But that doesn't mean that you could end up just ruining a really good relationship. You could still be a good man, and it could still be great chemistry between the two of you. And you could just be over-analyzing the situation because of the circumstance that he can't control.
This card is this is getting yourself into a mess, right? This is like messy. And you're like, oh, I didn't mean for that. Now you feel guilty because something happened, but it was like...
But it's also about like communication factors. Maybe you wouldn't have over-exaggerated, or maybe you wouldn't have step your bounds with something if you felt heard. So if there's an ex that's coming in, maybe there's kids or there's something karmically happening there where they still communicate, but you've spoken about how it makes you uncomfortable and they refuse to acknowledge your feelings in the matter, then there is a progression that's going to happen there, where you might end up letting go of something. That means, because if someone doesn't respect something that you give them, like think of your feelings as an object. Right. And here are my feelings, Kendrick. I'm giving this to you as an object. If you take that object and you tamper with it and you don't care about it, guess what I'm going to do? Take my feelings back. I'm gonna take that object back, because it's important to me, and I don't want to give it to somebody who can't respect it, who can't value it like I do, because it's mine, right? So it's like if you think of parts of yourself in your emotional state, like something like that, then it's easier for you to learn how to protect yourself and how to create certain boundaries for yourself. Because what we do is we start to break these boundaries down when we think about considering what our mate needs and and what's fair and this, that, and the other. And then we cheat ourselves of what we needed, or we get mad because we didn't stand up for what we needed in the situation. Right.
Right. It's like, it's like that collateral damage that takes place you know, after
you guys always give it, Aries.
After something happens, it's the collateral damage that takes place. And then it's like you have to acknowledge that there's some damage that's been done within a situation, and that's how you're actually going to get past it. Talk about your feelings.
Right. Right. Well,
and that's what some of you guys actually really have some issues doing, right? Because you're like, oh, I don't have time to talk about feelings. I need to do this. And it's like, you're making people feel like you really just don't give a fuck, and it's always about you. Sometimes.
It's funny too, because it's like I was watching Grey's Anatomy. I was Netflix and chilling with myself. And it was like, you know, I'm recapping Grey's Anatomy because it's one of those shows that I love. And this episode I was watching, it was doing one of those montages where, you know, you go through and it's doing a narration of the characters while they're showing this screen. Right. And they were talking about men and just their feelings in general. Right. And they were like, men, it's not that men aren't in touch with their feelings.
The Empress right here.
Because they are. It's just that a lot of them don't want to talk about it. It's that they don't want to talk about their feelings. It's not that they're not feeling the feelings, right? Here, Mars, which is all about yang energy, right? Which is all about building something and pumping weight and being testosterone and being a man, Tarzan, Mars energy, the man to do the job, is with Cancer, which is like, I feel. Oh, we always argue about this because I think this is Mars and Cancer. But he says it's Mercury in Cancer. I think this is Mars in Cancer, but it might be Mercury in Cancer. It might be Mercury in Cancer. But either way, it's talking about, if it's Mercury, it's talking about the communication. If it's Mars, it's talking about the hunger and engineering. Right. I'm pretty sure, this is funny because we didn't look it up. So maybe if one of you guys, you can comment on there. He did? He looked it up? Okay. So he's saying that it is. Okay, so I'll accept it for now since I didn't look it up. Mercury in Cancer, which is talking about your communication.
It's interesting.
And maybe you're overanalyzing.
A Gemini card.
It is over a Gemini card. So there's a lot of analysis going on here. But here it's saying, like, you have the ability to control how you feel.
Right.
Right. And how you express how you feel to others. Right. And like some of you, it's like you're feeling bad because you're not expressing how you feel.
You're not. That's what's going on. It's like you're not doing it and you feel bad because it's causing you conflict. And it's like you had to make a decision based on the conflict that was, you know, it was yours, you know. So it's like Mercury and Virgo right here being like, really, this is talking about you fixing yourself, right? And then you got the Hermit card right there, basically in your emotions. You really have to be a little softer in terms of how you approach things, because it's always about the approach with Aries. You got to be a little bit sensitive to how you're going to be received, right? Because you don't, it's almost like you're always interjecting, right? You're interjecting. Bam,
there's something, you're just not, you're feeling blocked somehow. You're feeling blocked emotionally or creatively somehow, and it has a lot to do with like some type of intimidation factor or some type of new beginning that you have to have inside of yourself. Because yeah, there you go. The future card.
Help regarding.
Yeah. Because otherwise you're just gonna be, it's gonna double. This feeling that you're feeling, right, could double as far as like, you know, these concerns if you don't express yourself, express these emotions, right? Because you need to express, you have to have the courage to do it. Because otherwise you're just staying here and you're analyzing all the information and knowing all the statistics. Right. And, you know, it's like somebody who's like too smart to make a decision.
It may have been like you were bringing the conflict into the institution, right? And it's 5 right here, right? There's somewhere you can go from this. But then once it gets to here, there's no one else involved. It's only you. So it's like once you start to create empty bonds with people that actually aren't really going to be there to nurture you in the times that you need to be able to relate to people on an emotional level.
Wow.
It's going to be you by yourself in the end.
Aries, I'm just looking at Wonder Woman 21 girl. Yes, Aries was married to Libra and fell in love with Scorpio and finalizing the divorce. Okay, like I see that in here because Scorpio energy is definitely rising at the top. And then in the past is the emotions with the Libra. Okay, right now you're analyzing all of the stuff and sharing all of the emotions.
Right.
And then here, Sun in Sagittarius could also mean like all of these tensions, all of these things squeezing you to get the result. It's like a feeling of ascension in your spirit, right? Because you have a long-term goal at hand. And like Sagittarius is all about running the race. So you shoot the arrow. The arrow could be a marriage. The arrow could be a divorce. The arrow could be a job.
Here's the thing, you guys. This is what I say. Do not get involved with your new lover's ex.
Oh, you need to keep that separate.
And when I say don't get involved, that means
Aries, yes.
I'm talking to anybody that is dealing with
Sun, Moon, Rising,
someone's ex. If that's their relationship, that is not your relationship to have with someone's ex that you're involved in. I'm just saying that, right? Let them have that. You're inviting more drama into your life by letting this other person, who obviously already has drama with that person.
It also says something about you with your control issues if you feel like you can't allow your spouse to have a life where you can't saturate every aspect of their existence.
Right.
They are their own person, and you have to respect them. It's like it'll be very telling if you have children, if you're that type of person, or if you don't have children and you plan to, how you treat them once they start having opinions that don't agree with yours.
Mm-hmm. Right.
You know?
Your anxieties, you have Venus and Virgo.
Being single again?
Venus is in Virgo right now.
Or getting back to yourself.
Right. This is talking about appreciating the beauty that you have in your surroundings, that you provide yourself, what you have manifested, what you see in your reality. Yes, this is not relying on anyone else to really make you happy, because you can find that within yourself and within, those things around you. Plants, pets, food.
I mean, Venus is in Virgo right now.
Yeah.
So it could also just mean that you just are in anxiety right now. Like, this is an anxiety period of time for you for some reason or another. Maybe you made some choices in your life, and it's just been a very stressful period of time for some reason. And it has to do with you, like you, Virgo, right? So both of your emotions, because you have your moon, which is your feelings, and your anxieties, which is your feelings.
Right.
Right. And they're both Virgo cards.
You have anxieties over the completion of something. It's almost like you want to be.
You do want to complete it.
You want to get out of where you are, but it's almost like you want to stay there too.
It's a process. Maybe there's something transformative happening.
Right.
You're getting a new job, you're getting promoted, you're having a baby, you're getting married, you're moving, you're breaking up, you're getting the divorce, because before I was saying short-term goal. I'm saying like a short-term goal. For some of you, it could be a long-term goal that's going to be completed, or it's a short-term goal that takes a little bit longer than you wanted it to.
Right.
But I can see success.
Right.
Success definitely will happen, but it's just, may take longer than you want it to. Okay. You might have to wait. You might not even see things really changing over until the end of September, like after Virgo, because this is a Sag, which is Jupiter. So it might not become actually beneficial for you until like the end of September sometime.
Right. It's like this has been going. It's like, how long has this been going on?
Maybe the completion is around September or October. There needs
to be a completion. You need to close the door. You need to turn that light switch off. You need to put the basket down, whatever it is that you need to do to bring an ending to, because the situation is burdening. It's burdensome to you. It involves other people. It involves other people that actually really shouldn't have any major influence on your life. Like, that's
true.
Crazy.
Like, you are really just being affected by, and maybe I don't know if they shouldn't have, because we don't know the scenario, but it's like you are allowing outside forces you're allowing outside forces to control because they could be like family or something. The 5 is also family, so it's like obviously you care about your family and stuff, but it's like they can't control your choices. Like, you are still your own person,
right?
Like, whatever the situation is, and I'm getting it has to do with a project. Short-term goal, ceremony, job, maybe went into business with someone or something, or in the relationship, you're in the relationship, and like the amount of energy that you're putting into all of this suspect shit is like, you might as well just think about the idea of being single again. for some of you. You know, because the mind is on fire. For some of you, you're like, you don't want to stop the analysis. Like, look at it. This is, oh my goodness. This is Gemini, Jupiter and Gemini expanding. And then you're going to get this card in the Mars section. It's like, you are really about to go into like some mental stuff.
This is the thing.
This month. You need to meditate.
Right, because, you know, you're known for adding fuel to the fire. You're Mars. You're adding fuel to the fire, especially with this card right here in your wheel. It's almost like you feel like you just can't take it anymore. And you really, I don't want you to do anything like drastic, like wow loud, get into a fight with a random person at a bar or argue with somebody in line at like the Bed Bath and Beyond or something. You know what I mean? Like, don't get into any fights with any strangers because you never really know what anybody's going to do.
Right.
You know what I mean?
How they're going to react to what you do.
And you know, nobody really knows what you're going through. And you have to remember that sometimes when you're out in public and you're dealing with people on a greater social scale, that it's like, you know, last night I was coming home and we were getting off the subway at 96th Street. You know, we get off the train and this lady was walking in front of me, or she was behind me and another lady, and she was trying to get in between us as people were coming off behind her. So she like trips on the lady. And the lady was actually reaching into her bag at the time. And the lady who tripped over her said, "Oh, I'm sorry, excuse me." And then the lady picked up her phone and she said, "Are you awake?" And the lady was like, "I am awake, thank you." And then she looked at me and she was like, "Oh, I thought she was getting smart." So she like reacted, and the lady didn't even know she was there. She was going to her phone and picking up the phone and saying, "Are you asleep?" Because it was late at night. You know, people were getting off of their late shifts. So
she was on the offense.
Right. She was on the offense already. She was just like, "Oh, am I awake?"
Right. This is an attack. Yeah, this is an attacker card. And in the Mars section, it's like you're mentally ready to attack for some reason. Maybe somebody is making you that way. Or maybe you feel like you're being fair, right? Because maybe you have waited out somehow, Moon in Libra. And for some of you, you do feel like you're being fair in the situation. You know, and for others of you, you're being very critical and you need to just get those swords down, excuse me, you know?
Yeah, we're going to look at your advice. This is the thing. It's like, this is Saturn and Leo. We're talking about family. We're talking about institutions. We're talking about conflict within a familial institution, probably. This is hard. So it's saying that, like, when people have families with people, you cannot do anything to change or reshape whatever that bond is. You can't change someone's relationship with someone else. It's their relationship to have
how they relate to each other, right?
So it's like when you start to say things like people are doing, you know, they're using the kids to kind of, like, that's getting a little bit too deep into someone else's situation that doesn't really involve you. So you want to kind of like just really discern where you are needed in regards to helping the situation relieve itself of the conflict. Do not add to the conflict by injecting little morsels or little pockets of what your anxiety might be manifesting. You know,
or is like Virgo bothering you? I mean, for some of you, is there a Virgo in your life that's really just freaking bothering you? I mean, everything that you do is like, you know, you want to go outside and play, and you've got to you got to cross every I and dot every T before you go and do anything. So the feeling of spontaneity is like getting taken out a little bit. Maybe there's some fickleness involved.
The advice is, you can go your own way. Right? You know that song? This is saying, turn around and just
can control how you feel in the matter. Right?
You really can go your own way. It's like this is a Leo card, you guys. You create
Leo Sag. This is Leo season.
Leo Sag. You know,
you're a fire sign,
so you can definitely say that this
Empress
could be Aries
energy
as well. You know,
right? Giving birth.
This is you. The advice is saying, stay true to yourself, but also you need to stay true to those parts of yourself that you know are harder to access. Right. So when you know that there's a part of you that exists, but it's hard to access, you need to make it more accessible. Virgo.
It's also the opposite of the
Hermit card.
swords.
I know you're an Aries.
Because, you know, air and fire have a natural compatibility to each other. So maybe all of this analysis needs to get to a peak where you just express it in a very clear way, right? Because a lot of this, the queens know how to express themselves. They know what they're feeling. They're the queens. They're the extension of the empress. So all of them are really all about expression. They're water. And then this is fire. So there is a battle with how you're feeling versus what you're doing and like the spiritedness versus the soul.
Right. You need to know what you're doing it for. And if you don't know what you're doing something for, there's no way that you can be doing it right.
That's when people, or just controlling the currents of how you feel versus how you express how you feel, right? Because one's internal and one's external. You can know supremely how you feel, but it can still be coming across as a way that's really brash, rude, or harmful instead of constructive.
What are you doing?
Right. In relationship to other people, exactly. In relationship to other people. And then, you know, you don't want to go back later and be like, you know, people associate you as somebody who's really like brash and like maybe you're good at your job, but you don't have any friends. There's got to be a balance to life in that sense. You know what I mean? Or even if with your lover, if you feel justified in acting a certain way, just think about your approach. You can always get something across, but sometimes when you say things, Aries, you can't take it back. You know, swords are very powerful because of that. The sword is associated with the tongue, with paperwork, with logic, with signatures. You wrote it, the contract of it. So it's like once you solidify it, it's like
that's the thing, right? It's like you're Aries. That's different than Libra. Libra's right. You need to like try to tap into the way that Libra would approach it because they're actually going to think about how the other person is going to be affected by it. Aries is not doing that at all, really. It's just it's a miss.
You're teaching us how we should just go after what it is that we really feel passionate about. So that's something that we learn from you guys. But what you learn from other signs, especially Libra, which is exactly opposite you, is how to think about somebody else's actions and how they feel as well as you. You know, like whoever this person is that you may be conflicted with at work, they have a life. They go home, they have a life, and they have issues, and they have a whole thing that they go through and a routine that they have, and they have a diet, and they have a plan, and they have responsibilities and bills, and then they come to work and they deal with you as well as you deal with them. So it's like you have to think about those things and those aspects as well. And you're a sign that's not naturally going to that place first. And I feel like if you do, it will help you in your feelings of compassion. Even with a lover, it's like, you can't just expect them to know how you feel, you know, or if you have certain insecurities that make you feel spirited about someone, or if you don't like that they're talking to their ex, have you actually said that to them? Or do you just eye roll them and smack your tongue and slam plates down when they say something and you should be, and you feel like, well, you should know every time I slam a plate down when you say her name. Like, that's not communicating.
It's not.
You know?
I mean, like that could get a point across.
Yeah, it could get a point across.
But it's like once you've gotten the point across that you're upset about something, now what? Right.
It's like a baby crying because it needs to be fed. Okay, like babies also cry for a lot of other reasons. So maybe I tried to give it the bottle. It doesn't want the bottle. It's still crying. Check the diaper. Oh, it's not the diaper. What is it? You got a stomach ache? Like, it's like you have to develop and be, you know, because you're very spirited. So you know how you feel.
It's communication. So you can
it is communication. Better with communication. Mercury and Cancer. Better with communicating how you feel. Right?
Yeah. Let's because if you don't do that, you're gonna end up being alone in the end. Let's look at your
hard to let you go. It's like the messages.
Okay, this is good. So this is saying that, you know, like, we really want to see you mature. And we
the last card of the Arcana, period.
The first card.
Wow, a completion is happening. I think also what's going to happen here is, for some of you, a completion is happening, like whatever your goal is, your short-term project will be completed. So if you are asking how's it going to go with business or with this short-term ceremony or this goal, it's going to happen for you. especially if there's a man involved, like you're going to get that thing. It's going to be solidified.
Right.
So there's your message. Congratulations.
There it is, baby.
But for some others of you, it's like you're going to get to a place where you're not going to be able to hide from whatever it is. You analyze it down to the T, and you wonder why you had to let go of what you had to let go of, and how you lost the intimacy. And guess what? You're going to know how. In the end, you're going to know how. Whether it was you or that person, you're going to look back and you're going to know how. And for some of you, you're not looking at the responsibilities of your part. I'm being very honest with you, Aries. And you have to hold yourself accountable as well.
Right.
For things that happen. Even if
you can't just be like, oh, well, I didn't really mean for that to happen.
Yeah, I didn't really mean for it to happen. But you also have to think about how somebody else will feel in their actions. Put yourself in their shoes. This idea, and maybe you'll get to a clearer understanding.
It's really about growing up.
And some of that this feeling might come from that as well, because you will probably get what you want in the end. But there's also a feeling of like, I didn't necessarily have to stumble through the grass to get it. Maybe if I didn't trample through the grass like that, now when I sit on the porch, I would have had some roses instead of just some grass there.
Okay, so Ben,
you know what I mean? Like
you guys just saw that, right? We're gonna close the reading with this, bam. And this is the card that I read for my soon-to-be ex this week, who happens to be a Libra, Scorpio, Aries. This was his card, bottom of the deck. So this is what we're closing out you with. Change your life. This is the Tower. Didn't we talk about the Tower moment? You just said there was a Tower moment. The Tower moment is saying a sudden revelation that offers freedom. Break free of procrastination. Embrace the opportunities that change brings. You guys, this is asking you to release the burden. Let go of the oppression. Yes?
Yeah, this is like, straight up, some of you are going to just get thrown from the idea of whatever it is that you think you want.
Cut the cord.
And, you're going to actually just kind of like, and then others of you are going to get to a place where you're like getting so driven, you're getting so, like the passion of the situation, whatever it is going to draw you to a place where this change is going to happen in your life.
Right.
Basically. Like whatever it is that you feel like you're being squazzed, and it's all these things happen. These swans.
If you don't know now, you will know very soon. And if you're taking some things for granted, you will not be doing that once this happens. Thank you, Aries. You guys
Aries, this was juicy. It's always good with you. I mean, you guys always catch me surprised. Thank you.
We'll talk to you guys soon.
Okay, you'll get something in August.
Bye.
Bye.